So you're trying to figure out who to put into your Fantasy Premier League side. Well, I'm going to give you a strategy that could help you get hundreds of points more. Coming up next. What's up guys, and welcome to JNO United, bringing you the best in football news, entertainment and games. And today we're going to look at a strategy that I'm going to be using going into this up and coming season. But before we get into that, make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel. We're doing 30 days of FPL where I put a video up every day about Fantasy Premier League. Smash that like button if you're surprised that I've got past a week of doing a video a day, because that's completely new to this channel. Really trying to stretch myself as far as recording, editing and uploading, and also leaving any comments down below about your Fantasy Premier League side. If it's a question, it may go into a future episode, and if it's just conversation about FPL, I will try and be as involved as possible. But let's get into the strategy that I'm talking about. Now I want to make one thing clear. This is based off of something I read in an article about FPL off of Fantasy Football Scout. Now I'm a member of that website and it's where I get a lot of my stats, and I also get a lot of my stats from whoscored.com. Those two websites will be in the description down below, and the article I read, there will also be a link down below in the description. But basically it's based off of VORP, which is value over replacement player. Now the concept is simple. Some players will be more expensive than others, but for their value they will get similar or proportionally more points. Now I'm going to give you an example, and this is a simpler version of VORP. In the article you can read the whole formula for it, but the simpler version that I use, I'm going to show you two groups of 3 players. I'm going to use this year's prices but last year's points, and I'm going to show you for 29.5 million you could have hundreds of different points by dropping one player that everyone seems to think is a must-have. Now I've seen a lot of people say Aguero is a must-have. Now I believe that is based off the fact that Pep Guardiola is going to Manchester City. They seem to be improving their side quite well with transfers that seem quite intelligent. So I believe a lot of people think Man City are going to do really, really well. But if there's a striker that is going to get similar points to Aguero, then you could be getting points elsewhere. Now the example I'm going to show you, we start with Aguero and Sanchez. Those two are in both groups of 3. Now Aguero will cost you 13 million and Sanchez will cost you 11. Now in this 2 groups of 3 that I'm using, Sanchez is the constant at 11 million. Now the strikers could be Aguero, but because you have Aguero, you have to play Brighton to balance out the budget. Whereas in the other group of 3, you have Lukaku up front, which means you can afford Mahrez as your midfielder, because the difference in value is 4 million. So both groups of 3 both come in at 29.5 million. However, the group of 3 consisting of Aguero, Sanchez and Brighton would get you a total of 468 points. Now by bringing in Lukaku instead of Aguero, who got very similar points last season, you can now bring in Mahrez instead of Brighton, and the total point that group of 3 gives you is 592 points. That's over 100 points more. Now I'm by no means saying don't pick Aguero. What I'm saying to you is, if you think Kane or Vardy or Lukaku or even Ibrahimovic is going to get anywhere similar to the points that Aguero gets, would the save that you make by not picking Aguero be better used somewhere else? Now the reason this example is so big a difference is because Mahrez scored a lot more points than Brighton, whereas Lukaku and Aguero's point total was very, very similar. So that is my take on this strategy, and this is how I look at my whole squad build. Now I know you've all seen my first draft. To be honest, that was done very quickly and it will definitely change, I can guarantee you that. And off of pre-season, if I think Aguero is easily going to get the golden boot and beat the likes of Kane and Vardy by more than say 2 or 3 goals, then I will probably go with Aguero. Now of course that is also very reactionary. I could be watching the season and I could quite easily see that Kane is keeping up with Aguero. I could transfer Aguero out, bring Kane in, and then use the money I've saved somewhere else. So that is the concept I'm trying to show you. I didn't come up with a name for it. It's just a basic concept based off of VORP, which I got off the Fantasy Football Scout website. Anyway guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope the strategy I've just given you will be helpful, and I hope you've understood it. If I've not explained it well enough, please leave a comment down below and I will try and elaborate. But as always, I've been J&O, you've been awesome, and remember, it's all about the game.